Hi everyone, this is Mrs. Lee. This is going to be the second lesson or second day work for what is it called? Working with constraints. So we are on page M2-191. So if you look at number 4, this is the graph right here. Again, we start with always the y-intercept. So the y-intercept is at 3. So you start here at 3. And then to get to the next point, you have to, there's the slope right there. So you're going to go up 5. And then you may wonder, well, what do you do then? You can't just go up 5. So remember, this is actually over 1. So we're going to go to the right one. And we go to the right one because it is positive 1. All right. And so we can go up 5 into the right one or do the exact opposite. So that will be down 5 and then to the left 1. And so this is what it would look like. And notice it is a dotted line because, or a dashed line because it does not say equal to there. And we're just going to see, well, it says y is greater than 5x plus 3. So we're going to plug in, remember, we're just going to plug in a point and see if it works. And we're going to plug in the point 0, 0. And notice 0, 0 is to the right of the line. So when we plug it in, 0 is greater than 5 times 0 plus 3, which is simplifies down to 0 is greater than 3. And is 0 greater than 3? No, not greater than 3. So therefore, 0, 0 is not a point that is a solution. It's a point, but it's just not a solution. So we know that the shading is going to be on the other side. So we have the arrows going to the right. The other right, the left. Okay, so it's going to go there to the left. And then we do the same thing for the second inequality. And you notice again, here's at -3. Slope is at 5. It's the same slope. So as you can see, they are parallel or should be parallel. And when we plug in the 0, 0, right, we plugged it in right over here and we get 0 is less than -3. And is it true that 0 is less than -3? No, not true. Yeah, so it's not on the side of 0, 0. Notice that for the red line, it is 0, 0 is to the left of it. So we're going to be shading to the right. And if you notice here, since we have 2 inequalities, we want to know where do they overlap and where do they overlap? They don't, which means that this is no solution because the shaded areas do not intersect. I should say overlap. That's probably a better word, not intersect. So overlap. Okay. And then same thing with this one right over here. So x is greater than or equal to -5. So if you go to -5, this is greater than or equal to, and everything to the right of that, right? And the same thing with this one, x is greater than or equal to 1. So we go to where x is equal to 1 and shade everything to the right of that. So which one fulfills both? And if you notice, if it fulfills the purple line, then it's going to fulfill the red one. So it cannot be this stuff in the middle because that would not fulfill that purple line. So therefore, it can't be that stuff there on the left. So then the question then is, do we really need this red line? And we're like, no, we don't really. It's like we don't really need this one right here. This is kind of unnecessary because if it fulfills x is greater than 1, we don't need x is greater than or equal to -5. If it has to fit both criteria, right? So technically we don't need that one, but we'll just write that in there. All right, it's kind of a moot point. So sometimes you'll get answers like this. Not often, usually they will overlap, but there are these special situations like this. All right. Oh, and also here on the right-hand side, the question was asked, how do you know that this +3 is the y-intercept? Well, this is how you know. Algebraically, this is what you do. So remember the y-intercept is when x is equal to 0. So what is y when x is equal to 0? Because on the y-axis, that's where x is equal to 0. So we're going to plug in 0 for x. And if you notice right here, 5 times 0, 0, which is y is equal to 3. So notice that wherever it's with the x, that thing is going to cancel out. It's just going to be 0, right? And so all you end up with that is that constant number right there, the +3 or whatever it is at that moment. So here on the bottom, that's just going to be -3. So that's why this constant number is always the y-intercept. All right, moving on. So we're going to skip a few here. We're going to go straight to page 195. If you look at page 194, this system A, B, C, D, these are all, we were supposed to match these with these graphs. And so that's what we did here. A couple things to note. I did try to color coordinate them, is that the y-intercepts are exactly the same. The only thing that is different is the slopes. One is positive, one is negative. And so this one right here, the purple, is the positive one. How do we know that? Right? If we go to this, the y-intercept right here, if I go up 3 and to the right 3, which would be positive, right? We end up on that purple line. So I know that that's going to be positive slope. Negative slopes go this way. Okay. Now, if you look at the left, so one way I showed you was plug in the point, right? Plug in 0, 0, see if it's a solution. The other way to do it, if it only works if you have it in slope intercept form, which it is. So if you look right here, if y is less than, right? So if you look on this line, purple line, where is the y values less than this line? It will be going down this way, right? Because it's less than. If you notice, all the y values here are going up, like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, right? Going up. We don't want, that's not less than. Okay, so y is going to be less than. So let me just redo that. So we know, oops, just kidding. So we know that all these points is the shading is going to be underneath the y, this purple line. Okay, underneath the purple line. And then if you look at the blue one right here, it says y is less than as well. We know it's going to be underneath the blue line. Okay, going towards where the y's are getting more negative. And do you see, so nothing is pointing to this section up here. And if you look at on the left-hand side, only the blue line is pointing to that section. So it's definitely not that. Same thing with over here, only the purple line is shading that area. And here, both the purple and the blue are pointing to this shaded area. So yeah, that's why this is all going to be shaded, because that's the overlap. Okay, that's where both the blue and the purple criterias fit. All right, and if you notice right here, the possible solutions is 0. So we also found, these were found at the bottom of your book right here, bottom of the page, I should say. I just cut and paste them. And so we just matched them to the right place. And notice that both of these points are in that shaded area, which means that yes, these are the possible solutions of A. Are there more? Oh, definitely. These are just 2 of them. And again, right here, we're going to go with the other way, not plugging in 0, 0. We're just going to try it out, right? So for the purple line, it says y is greater than. So we know that we're going to be shading up, just like this. So shading up. And here for the blue line, y is less than. So we're going to be shading down on the blue line. So if you notice right here, where does it overlap? Right here in this left area right there. Okay, all of that. And the possible solutions are all in this shaded area. Anything outside of it is not a solution because it has to work for both inequalities. All right, moving on to the C. Again, this says less than. So for the purple, we are going to be shading down like this. And the blue one says greater than. So for the blue, we're going to be shading up because it's greater than. And what do you notice? Where does it intersect? Right here at, I should say, overlap, right here in this area. So the right-hand side. And then for the last one, we did not, this one was the one that we did not have the graph for, so we graphed it ourselves. So again, we start with a 3, and we're going to go up 3 and then to the right 5 to get to the next point. And this is going to be our purple line, and then our blue is going to be over here. So the only difference is that it's going to be negative. So it's going to, if I go up 3, that's positive. And then that means my negative has to go to the bottom. So it's -5, which means go to the left 5. Or we can go down 3 and then right 5. Either way is okay. All right, again, so this is y is greater than. So we're going to be shading up for the purple line, and y is also greater than for the blue line. So again, shading up as well. So the only section that both of them overlap in is going to be this top area. All right, and that is the end of the lesson. See you later. Bye.